that E sound is kind of an dehors de. All right, and up next is en face de, en face de. And that means facing something or across from. En face de. And now let's go to this one. Entre. Entre means between. Entre. Entre means between. Entre. Up next is envers. Envers, and this means toward. Toward. Between. Entre. Up next is envers. Envers. And this means toward. Toward. Now, environ. Environ. This means approximately. Environ. All right. Now, this is kind of like when we did a minute ago. Hors de. Hors de. This means outside of. Also, like the previous one. Hors de. This we did a minute ago. Hors de. Hors de. This means outside of. Also, like the previous one we did. Dehors. This is hors de. And now, jusque. Jusque means until. It means up to. And in some cases, it can mean even. Okay. Loin de, loin de means far from. Loin de. And now, malgré, malgré means despite. Malgré. Up next is very common word, par, par. This means by or through. Par. All right. Now, parmi, parmi. This one means among. Parmi. Up next is pendant, pendant, which means during. Pendant, parmi. Up next is pendant, pendant, which means during. Pendant. Okay, now we're going to go to a very common word, pour. Pour. That means for. Pour. And now, près de. Près de. This means near, close to something. Près de. All right, have just about 5 or 6 more, something like that. We're almost done. The next one is contre à. Contre à. This means as for. It can also mean regarding. Okay? Contre à. And now, sans. Sans means without. Sans. Up next is selon. Selon, which means according to. Selon. Sous means under. Sous. And now, suivant. Suivant means according to. Suivant. And I got 2 more for you. Sur means on. Sur, on. Okay, and the last one I'm going to give you in this list is this one. It is vers. Vers means toward. Vers. All right. Well, mes amis, I think I've given you a really good list to get started with prepositions in French. Get these down, start bringing them into your conversation, then start adding to it, right? Adding more vocabulary as much as you can. Well, guys, thanks for hanging out with me on this episode of the Language Tutor French. Join me on the podcast and we'll practice.
Work is a pain in the apps. My files are...
So, why should I learn a language with either of you? We match you with the best tutor for you. We provide you with...
But with that, let's jump into today's lesson. We're going to be Be talking about the days of the week and the months of the year in French. I also want to talk about how to discuss days and dates, stating when something's going to happen and what day is it today. So we'll first of all zip through the days of the week and then we'll move into the months and then wrap it up with that. All right. So get ready to write. Nous allons écrire. We're going to write and let's get those days down in our notebooks. Okay. Here we go. Up first, Monday is lundi. Lundi. All right. Tuesday is mardi. Mardi. Wednesday is mercredi. Mercredi. Thursday, jeudi. Jeudi. Friday is vendredi. Vendredi. Saturday. Is samedi. Samedi. And Sunday is dimanche. Dimanche. All right, now I'm going to go back through those one more time and I just want to say the French and then have you repeat it really quick, okay? So just practice our pronunciation. Here we go. Lundi.
At Constructed University, you'll get an excellent education, all in English, while staying in the heart of Germany.
Mardi. Mercredi. Jeudi. Vendredi. Samedi. Dimanche. All right, my friends, that wraps up the days of the week. Let's move into the months of the year, okay? Start right here with January. It is janvier. Janvier. February. We have an accent here. Février. Février. March is mars. Mars. April. Avril. Avril. May is mai. Mai. June is juin. Juin. July is juillet. Juillet. August is août. Août. September. Septembre. 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 October. Octobre. Octobre. November is novembre. Novembre. And December is décembre. Décembre. All right. Now, again, I want to go back through those. I'm going to say it in French. You repeat it. Okay. Here we go. Janvier. Février. Mars. Avril. Mai. Juin. Juillet. Août. Septembre. Octobre. Novembre. Décembre. Okay, mes amis, now that we've learned the days of the week and the months of the year, now I really want you to be able to discuss days of the week and dates. Okay, so with that, we're going to put up this question. What day is it? What day is it? In French, we would say, what day are we? So we would say, quel jour sommes-nous? Quel jour sommes-nous? Okay, now you would actually respond by saying, if we were Monday, for example, we would say, we are Monday. So if you wanted to say this, it is Monday, we would say, nous sommes lundi. Nous sommes lundi. All right. Now let's talk about what if we're discussing when something is going to happen? What day of the week something is going to happen? For example, what day is the party? Okay, what day is the party? Quel jour est est la fête? Quel jour? What day is the party? Quel jour est la fête? Quel jour est la fête? Now, I could also say this, just simply when. Quand est la fête? Quand est la fête? Just simply when. La fête. Now, I could la fête. Quel jour? What day is the party? Quel jour est la fête? Quel jour est when? Quand est la fête? Quand est la fête? Our response would be this. The party is Thursday. We'll just pick a random day. The party is Thursday. That would be this. La fête est jeudi. Jeudi. La fête est jeudi. All right. Now, I want to show you one more thing. When we are stating dates, just saying what date it is, okay? The number of the month, what day. There's a little bit of a progression that we use, a formula, an order of words. Okay, we really don't use ordinal numbers in French. All right, we're going to say this word. We're going to say le, and then we're going to say the number, and then we're going to say the month after it. We don't have to say anything else. For example, I'll just use my birthday since just picked. All right, we're going to say this word. We're going to say le, and then we're going to say the number, and then we're going to say the month after it. We don't have to say anything else. For example, I'll just use my birthday since, just picked a random date, right? Don't have to send gifts or anything, but March 3rd, le 3 mars, le 3 mars. Just simply the, and then the day, and then the month. Okay, let's do one more. We'll pick my wife's birthday, July 28th. All right. So we're really going to say the 28th July, not using ordinal numbers like we don't say 28th like we do in English. Okay, just the standard number. So July 28th would be the 28th July. So le 28.
My design process is very organic. What's able to let me be so free?
Juillet. Le 28 July, so le 28 juillet. Le 28 July. So le 28 juillet. Le 28 juillet. All right. Now let's do two more just for good practice. All right. June 10th. June 10th. Would be le 10 juin. Le 10 juin. Now let's do one more because I want to show you something. It's a little bit of an exception. I'm going to put up February 1st. February 1st. Now, for the first of the month, we're not going to say the number one. This is the only one that's different. For the first day of the month, we're going to say the first, which would be in French, premier, premier. So it would look like this. I'll show you in context. Le 1er février. Le 1er février. So remember, it's always the standard number unless it's the first of the month. We're going to use that word premier. Okay? Well, mes amis, that wraps up this short episode. I hope this has helped you a lot. And listen, start trying to state dates that things are going to happen in your life. First of all, try to say your birthday. And then try to think of events that are coming up in your life and look up those words and start talking about when those things are going to happen. This will really help you expand your conversation. And I always recommend to have mock conversations. Pretend you're having a conversation with somebody. What would you need to say? What words am I missing? Look those words up, complete it, fill in the gaps, and practice the conversation again. Because those things really, really help you come up with real life words that you need in real life conversation. All right? And hey, join me on the Language Tutor French podcast.
This is your brain when you're struggling to focus. And this is your brain when you're in the zone. But getting in the zone and staying there, that feels more like...
Bonjour mes amis, bienvenue. Hey guys, welcome back to the Language Tutor French series. Je suis Danny et je suis votre professeur de français. I'm your French teacher, Danny. And I'm so happy you're hanging out with me on this episode. I've got a really cool lesson for you today. We're going to be talking about clothing items in French. And maybe you can start talking about what you're wearing right now or what you put on normally. And maybe you want to mix in some colors with these clothing items and sizes and numbers, really just bring it all together. We'll be covering those colors really soon, okay? But in the meantime, I want to ask you, have you clicked subscribe and the notification bell right here on the channel? Because we don't want you to miss any of our great French lessons right here on this channel. And also, tune in to the Language Tutor French podcast and practice what you learn with me on the go, okay? In the meantime, right now, let's get going with this lesson. Let's get ready to write in our cahier avec un stylo, or un crayon, and let's get going. Here we go. Let's put up some clothing words. This first one I want to give you is this one, les vêtements. Les vêtements. And that means clothing in general, okay? Now, the next one, clothing, vêtements. Some clothing words. This first one I want to give you is this one, les vêtements. Les vêtements. And that means clothing in general. Clothing in general, okay? Now, the next one is another word for clothing. It's les habits. Les habits. So both of these mean clothing, all right? Now, let's move into some specific clothing items. And I'm just going to hit a lot of the basics in this lesson. And, if there's something specific you want to learn, you can look that up and bring that into this vocabulary as well. First of all, we've got this one. A jacket is un blouson. Un blouson. Okay, a shirt is une chemise. Une chemise. And you can tell that this one is feminine because it has une instead of un. So I'm giving you little keywords here to help you memorize which one it is, masculine or feminine. Okay, the next one is a pair of jeans. And what they say in French is a jean. So it's this, un jean. Un jean. Up next is a coat, which is un manteau. Un manteau. Okay, now let's do pants. Okay, and this is singular in French. Okay, now let's do pants. Okay, and this is singular in French, so it's un pantalon. Un pantalon. All right, now let's do the other version, the summer version of that, and that's shorts. And for this one, again, you're going to make it singular and say un short. Un short. All right, now for a t-shirt, they actually use the American word and they say un t-shirt. Un t-shirt. So they're bringing in our American word, just like we use the French word déjà vu, right? Oh, I'm having déjà vu. Okay. All right. So the same thing. All right. Here we go with socks. We'll just move down to the socks. Here is les chaussettes. Les chaussettes. And I want to go ahead and tell you that the next three, socks, shoes, and sandals, are all feminine. Okay, so kind of go ahead and get all the feet word are feminine. F for feet and feminine. Okay, so the feet words are feminine. So les chaussettes. The shoes are les chaussures. Les chaussures. And sandals, les sandales. Les sandales. So all three of those are feminine. All right, let's do a different kind of shoe, and that's a tennis shoe. And they call these les tennis.
My work is easy because I use ClickUp. Here's how I keep track of all my tasks. I start by brain dumping everything I need to get done in a list view. Next, I set a priority and a due date to keep things on track. I create custom statuses to organize my progress exactly how I want.
Les tennis. And those are masculine, okay? So those kinds of shoes are masculine, specifically tennis shoes. All right, now let's go do some different, just kind of skip around a little bit. Blouse is un chemisier. Un chemisier. A skirt is une jupe. Une jupe. A dress is une robe. Une robe. All right, now a suit is un tailleur. Un tailleur. All right, now a tie that you wear with a suit is une cravate. Une cravate. All right, now another suit, but a different kind of bathing suit, is un maillot. Un maillot. All right, let's do just a few more clothing words and then we'll get some verbs that relate to these. Belt is une ceinture. Une ceinture. And you know, one popular thing in France and Switzerland and that part of Europe is skiing. So let's do a heavier jacket, like a ski jacket. As our last one is un anorak. Un anorak. All right. Now that gives you several good words to start with, clothing words. Let's do some verbs now. Okay, let's put some verbs up that relate to wearing clothes and getting dressed and things like that. So first of all, the verb to wear is porter. Porter. All right, now to put on shoes, if you think about the word for shoes, so chaussures, now you can sort of make that into a verb and say chausser. Chausser, that's to put on shoes. Now to try on something is essayer. Essayer. To get dressed is s'habiller. S'habiller. Now notice something about this verb right here. It has an S in front of it. Now this is typically an SE, but since it's in front of that H, which is counted sort of like a vowel, it becomes an S apostrophe. So it's s'habiller. And you might be saying, why is the S there to begin with? Well, this is what we call reflexive in French. And now in the near future, we'll be doing a lesson on reflexive, okay? And how we use reflexive in French. But in the meantime, just go ahead and learn that verb s'habiller, and then we'll get to it in the near future on what to do with that, how to manipulate that verb, okay? So I want to give you two more verbs really quick. This one, to fold, because we like to fold our clothes sometimes, is plier, and to iron is repasser. Repasser. And to fold, because we like to fold our clothes sometimes, is plier. And to iron is repasser. And to iron is repasser. Repasser. All right, mes amis, that gives you a great little list to start with. Start learning how to discuss your clothes. Get those down, maybe look up some other ones, some more specific things that you might wear to bring in.
Top 2 IELTS ebook tự học mà tôi đã săn được miễn phí. Let's find out. Thật ra nha, tôi săn được tới 20 cuốn cơ cho cả 4 kỹ năng, chia đều cho các bên điểm luôn. Overall thì tôi thấy là các cuốn đều tự học được. Kiến thức sẽ là các kiến thức xuất hiện trong đề thi. Có rất nhiều bài tập để cho bọn mình có thể thực hành nữa. Câu 1, Ideas for IELTS reading.
Bonjour mes amis, bienvenue. Hey guys, welcome back to the Language Tutor French series. I'm so happy you're with me on this quick lesson future, all right? Now let's start out, we're talking about the weather. Let's start out by getting the seasons of the year. So here we go. First up is winter. And winter in French is l'hiver. l'hiver. Now, that is masculine. You see that L apostrophe, you know that's the winter. So I'm giving you the forms, but this one's hard to tell because it's just L apostrophe, because that H is treated as a vowel. But winter is masculine, l'hiver. All right, let's put up spring. Spring is le printemps. Le printemps. Le printemps. All right, now let's go around the calendar here. Summer is next. Summer is l'été. L'été. And finally, my favorite time of the year is fall or autumn is l'automne. My favorite time of the year is fall or autumn is l'automne. L'automne. All right. So those are our 4 seasons of the year. Now let's get into specifics on how to discuss what's going on outside year round. Okay? So let's start with it's cold. It's cold is il fait froid. Il fait froid. Froid almost sounds like cold. I don't know what it is. All right, il fait froid. It's hot is il fait chaud. Il fait chaud. Now, an in between, not quite cold, but it's chilly, is il fait frais. Il fait frais. All right, now we're going to bring in some other types. It's cloudy. C'est nuageux. C'est nuageux. Okay, now it's windy. Is il y a du du vent. Il y a du vent. Now, I want to show you this phrase at the beginning here. Il y a. Il y a means there is. All right. So you're really saying there is wind, right? So you can use il y a in other phrases too. You can say, oh, there are 3 people here. Il y a 3 personnes ici. You can use it in situations like that. Okay. So bring that in your conversation. Up next is it's raining. It's raining is il pleut. Il pleut. All right. Up next is it's sunny. Again, we're going to use there is. Il y a du soleil. Il y a du soleil. There is sun. All right. And du is kind of there is some sun. It's kind of what it's implying. All right. It's humid. It's humid. We're going to use c'est humide. C'est humide. We're saying it is or that is humid. Okay. So it's kind of a strange way to translate it, but that it makes sense in French. It's misty outside. It's not quite raining, it's misty. Il y a de la brume. Il est misty. Il y a de la brume. Quite raining, misty. Il y a de la brume. Il y a de la brume. All right. It's foggy. And this one's a little bit challenging to say. Il y a du brouillard. Il y a du brouillard. You got to practice saying that first part with the R in the back. Brouillard. It's a little bit challenging sometimes. All right. It's snowing. Is il neige? Il neige. Snowing. Is il neige? Il neige. And it's hailing is il grêle. Il grêle. All right. Now, that gives you quite a few weather terms to get started with. Now, let's go into some activities that you can do throughout the year during different types of weather, okay? So let's look at our board. Let's put this one up. To go skiing. That's a really popular activity in Europe. Faire
UK 2026 đã đến. Bạn đã sẵn sàng trở thành quán quân của một học bổng tiếp theo chưa? 11 quán quân học bổng UK xác nhận sẽ tham gia hướng dẫn bạn giải đề học bổng up to 100%.
du ski. Faire du ski. Now you might be saying, what is faire? Faire is the verb to do or to make. Okay, and now I'm giving you these verbs and these activities, but in just a minute, I'm going to show you how to conjugate faire. Okay, now the next one is to go ice skating. To go ice skating is faire du patin à glace. Okay, I'll say that one again. Faire du patin à glace. Glace is implying the ice. So you're skiing on ice. All right. Now to go camping, they actually use our word for camping and they say faire du camping. Faire du camping. All right. To sunbathe and nicer weather is se bronzer. Se bronzer. Now there again is that se, okay? And I told you last lesson that we're going to talk about reflexive in the near future. That's coming soon, okay? And this is reflexive. Se means reflexive. We'll be talking about how to do these verbs in the near future, okay? Up next is to go sailing. And that is faire de la voile. Faire de la voile. Up next is just generally to swim is nager. Nager. All right. Now to go hiking, we would say faire une fandonner. Faire une fandonnée. And let's do one more. To go for a walk. We like to do that in nice weather. Faire une promenade. Faire une promenade. All right. Okay, that gives you some good activities to start using. Now, the last thing I want to show you in this lesson is how to conjugate the verb faire, to do or to make. All right, in case you haven't learned this one yet, since we're bringing it up on this episode, I want to show you the conjugations. So let's put up our chart and let's do the conjugations of faire, to do or to make. So the je form up here in the top left is going to be fait, F-A-I-S. So I do, I make, je fais. All right. The tu form is going to be the same, fait, faire, to do or to make. So the je form up here in the top left is going to be fait, F-A-I-S. So I do, I make, je fais. All right. The tu form is going to be the same, fait, F-A-I-S. The il, elle, and the on form is going to be fait, F-A-I-T. We change that S to a T. Up at the top right, we do the nous form, which is faisons, nous faisons. The you plural form or respectful form is vous faites, vous faites. And finally, the il and elle forms are font. Ils font, elles font. All right? So now you can go back and look at those faire verbs and you can replace them with actual conjugation. So I ski would be je fais du ski. Okay? We go camping. Nous faisons du camping. Nous faisons du camping. All right, so now you see how that works, mes amis. Well, guys, I hope this has given you a really good start on how to talk about the weather and seasons and various activities. So bring those into your conversation. Make sure you're on the podcast and practice with me. And in the meantime, before I see you next time, I wish for you paix et bénédiction, peace and blessings. I'll see you next time on the Language Tutor French. Au revoir. Friends, thanks for watching the Language Tutor. If you have a question for me, feel free to leave it in the comment section below the video. And please click subscribe and the notification bell so that you'll never miss any of our language lessons. Bonjour mes amis, bienvenue. Hey guys, and welcome back to the Language Tutor French series. I'm so glad that you're with me on this episode. A couple of lessons ago, I told you we're going to be learning colors in French very soon. Well, guess what? Here we are. So I hope you're ready to write. Nous allons écrire. We're going to write together, ensemble, and let's get down those colors. All right, so here we go. Let's go to our board. First up, I want to give you this. What color is? We want to know how to ask somebody what color is something or what color are something, plural. Okay, so here's how we'll say what color is. And it is de quelle couleur est. De quelle couleur